What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy CJ3, the Gym Slasher, back at it again. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into it. Sheduer Sanders, control what you control. That's the thumbnail. That's where I'm going on. That's what we're going to get in. I did a short on this, so I'm just expanding like I did before. I'm just going to expand on it because I just want to talk about it a little bit more with a little bit more detail into what I'm talking about in terms of controlling what you control in regarding with Sheduer Sanders and just on a bigger scheme, right? So just to kind of lay out some things that some parameters around this. Everybody got it's big news. Sheduer Sanders for like him, love him, or hate him in between, the man moves the needle. And in the NFL or in the sports entertainment and professional sports, when you got somebody that's prolific like that can move a needle, it's advantageous for you as a business to hone in on that, to use that. It's a head scratcher to say the least that Sheduer Sanders is, I believe, at least at this time that I'm talking about this and doing this video, I think he's like QB3, maybe QB4. Joe Flacco is right now QB1. He was a long-standing Buffalo Ravens quarterback, and then from there he's kind of bounced around a couple of teams. From that time, he's a serviceable quarterback now. He's about 39, 40 years old, I believe. So typically in the NFL, especially when you're talking about quarterback position and going into a season where there's a little bit of quarterback competition, more often than not, most head coaches are going to bring in the veteran before they bring in the rookie or the unproven quarterback if it's relatively close. They feel more comfortable that at the very least they can prepare pretty good. Their preparation is good. They've been around the league, so they're not going to be deer in the headlights in those first games and stuff like that. So that would be more so the reason why they would have Joe Flacco starting in week one. Now, put that aside, right? Now you have, on top of that, Cleveland Browns decided on having like 5 quarterbacks. I think they got a total of 4. You got Flacco, you got the quarterback that's QB2, Kenny Pickett, I believe his name is. Then you got Dylan Gabriel, you got Sheduer Sanders, and I believe you got Tyler Huntley. So 5. They do got 5. They got 5 quarterbacks in that room, which is unheard of in the NFL in terms of having that many quarterbacks on your roster, because those are taking up valuable roster space, if you will. So there's another head scratcher there in terms of why they have 5 quarterbacks. And not to mention, I believe they still got Deshaun Watson, who's out on injury, but he will be coming back, sometime in the middle part of the season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. With that being said, with Sheduer Sanders having a good preseason game, and then Dylan Gabriel also having a pretty good, a decent game, and we see I don't believe, outside of a couple of instances here and there where you have so much eyes drawn to the Cleveland Browns, right? You haven't seen this kind of buzz since Johnny Manziel, as far back as I can look over the last 10 years or so, even the last 20, 25 years of the Cleveland Brown franchise, where you had all eyes on Cleveland in terms of, expectation and excitement. Johnny Manziel kind of pops up in that, and now you have Sheduer Sanders that is in that lane right now. So how do you navigate that, right? For them to have Joe Flacco start, right, and be the starter, and still Sheduer is kind of in this limbo of 4th, 3rd, where is he, a 2nd, and it's perplexing to some, and to some it makes sense, right? For Sheduer Sanders, the best thing and the best advice, like I said, that he can have that you can give him. And like I said, his dad is Deion Sanders, a Hall of Famer. So again, you don't need my particular advice, Sheduer, or he's got it from his loved ones and his family. And I believe, like I said before, they kind of leading him in the right direction. He's doing the right things right now. But this is just on a bigger scale to people in terms of athletes, or people that's athletes that want to go professional, that are professional, or that's in college or in high school, vying for positions, because this is football camp right now, starting to get into the season, and you're fighting, to get to be a starter or in that 2 deep rotation. So all you can do is to control what you can control. You can't waste energy on things that you can't have, that you do not have control over. The only thing that your main thing is the main thing, meaning that you can control how you work out, how you train, how you study, how you wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying, how you put together your regimen for the day. Those things are in control of you and nobody else, right? If you spend more time worried about, well, the coach didn't put me in, or that coach gave him 5 reps and gave me only 4 reps, or gave me only 2 reps, even if you talking to me and you saying, and I can acknowledge, like, yeah, that seemed like there's some BS going on with that. Yeah, that seemed like there's some play. But my answer, my question to you is, okay, be that as it may, the player in front of you got 5 reps and you got 2. Okay, yeah, that does seem pretty imbalanced. However, my question to you is, how did those 2 reps go? How did you do in your 2 reps? Were you pouting? Were you complaining? Were you just running off? Were you just kind of trotting and jogging and stuff like that? Or were you locked in? You was excited, you clapping, and you making the most of those 2 reps? How did you do when you got your opportunity? If it's 2 reps, if it's 10 reps, how did you do, right? What did you do? That's the control. That's what you can control. The other stuff, whether the coach puts you in or don't, whether they give you 3 reps or they give you 10, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you took those reps, how you took that opportunity. This is transferable to outside world of sports. When you're working and you're going out and you're wanting a promotion, or you're looking for another job, or you're competing for somebody else, and here they are spending a lot of time with them, but they ain't giving a whole lot of time to you. You can identify them, and there's nothing wrong with identifying discrepancies when you see them. But your next go-to is, okay, when I get my opportunity, how am I handling that? When they're talking with me and I know they're only going to talk to me for 30 seconds, but they're going to talk to him or her for 10 minutes. I still got to make the most of that 30 seconds. It's disproportionate. I see that, but I still got to make the most, because this is my goal. I want to get here. So you got to take full advantage of that. With Sheduer Sanders going through, that's all he can do, is when he gets called upon, to be ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's the only thing that he can do in relations to what he's got in front of him. Some of us can see this, and like I said before in other videos, you got criticism and you got constructive, positive criticism, and then you got haters. Haters are always going to move the field goal post to fit their narrative, right? For Sheduer Sanders, either you like him or you don't, or whatever, you're going to move the narrative and this and that. All he can do is what he can do, because there's going to be a time that he's going to get a call and say, we need you in right now. Now, that could be week 2, that could be week 10, that could be week 15. Who knows? He don't know. None of us, we can have an idea, we can guess, right? But when that opportunity gets called upon, are you ready? Are you ready to play? Also, are you ready to accept that you won't play, you won't see the field at all? That could be the case. That can very well be the case, where Joe Flacco don't get injured. He's having a hell of a season, a Pro Bowl season. Let's just say on the extreme, an MVP-esque season. They're 11-7 or 11-6 in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can potentially happen. But I promise you, cameras are still going to be panning to Sheduer. I promise you, there's going to be some kind of inside information is going to get leaked out to the masses in terms of how Sheduer is acting in practice, right? And if he's pouting, he's kicking around his helmet, he's away from the team, or they start seeing social media shorts of him doing anything but practicing, or he's out partying and all that, he's gonna get buried. He's in the limelight as a 5th-round pick when we all know he shouldn't have been a 5th-round pick, right? But he's still going to be, there's still going to be eyes on him. So he knows he's got to stay locked in this whole time, even if it does not correlate to him getting playing time, because he's too good for that not to happen, but it can happen. But also, he can't just sit there and go, well, they don't want to play me. I'm QB3. I ain't going to see the field, so I'm just going to kind of coax. I'm a lax off, and I'm just going to just kind of go through it. You don't want to do that. Be your best version of you at all times. That's what you can control. So with that being said, who are you? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your mission? Run your race. Stay in your lane. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace.